What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fire Emblem discussion. So on my update video, a few of you posted that you wanted me to continue doing the tier list series. So here we are. So let's do a Crimson Flower tier list. This is going to be my general opinions, and then you're going to give me your thoughts and ideas, and we're going to try and make an amalgamation of all of our opinions, including mine and all of yours, in the comments, to create a community tier list. So let us get started. I'm not going to do these from top to bottom like I have in the past. I'm going to start with just kind of character order, and we'll go from there. I am going to include characters that are playable in part 1, even if they aren't playable in part 2, and stuff like that. So, but we'll get more into that once we get there, essentially. So, let's start off with male Byleth, who I think is definitely S tier, along with female Byleth, who I do think is better than male Byleth. Female Byleth, just the ability to instant recruit Sylvain, so just get a free unit if you choose her. She also gets earlier access to flying, which I think is really useful. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this. This whole tier list is based on a maddening no new game plus file. So we're going to try our hardest to think of it that way, and we're not going to be considering grinding or doing like excessive amount of auxiliary battles and all this different stuff. We're just assuming you're trying to play the game relatively quickly, as in like a low turn count, not like the lowest turn count, but just playing kind of quickly, quote unquote efficiently. And that's just going to give us a basis, something to think about and something to use for planning. So that's, I don't know, because honestly, the more grinding and stuff you do, the better everyone gets and the more equal they become. So we're going to try to avoid that. Okay, next we'll talk about Edelgard. Edelgard, I think, is definitely, I don't want to say definitely, but potentially the best unit. Potentially the best unit in all of Crimson Flower. She is just really good. With her personal skill giving her extra experience, and she has the advantage over Byleth, which is she learns skill rankings every single week through instructing and all that. Whereas the Byleths miss out on that. They have to do it through exploration and learning from the other teachers in Knights of Syros, which is pretty rough, and it's not going to they're not going to grow as fast in their rankings as Edelgard will. Edelgard's going to have a lot easier time getting into important class lines to get important skills like Death Blow, potentially Darting Blow if you want to go, Pegasus Knight, and then into Wyvern Rider and Wyvern Lord. Yeah, just really, really good. Okay, next we'll talk about Hubert. Hubert's an interesting case. I think this is the only route he's playable in, fully, right? This is the only full route. I think he's A tier. He deals tons of magic damage. His one downside is that his Faith magic list is really bad, in all honesty. He's not going to be your best healer, but he will do tons of damage. A lot of people praise Lysithea for how much damage she can do to enemies, and honestly, Hubert does a similar amount of damage. His magic growth is only 5 points less than Lysithea, so it's 55% instead of a 60, and his base is really good as well. Hubert is just a solid unit. He gets really powerful spells to use, a lot of dark spells, and he makes a really solid end game just nuke, you know? Okay, Ferdinand Von Iron. I think this is the only route. This and Church Path, which I don't know if we'll rate Church Path because I hate that route. This is Ferdinand's, like 100%, this is Ferdinand's best route. He, in Blue Lions and Golden Deer, if you choose either of those, he's really hard to recruit in a new game, a fresh file, you know? And here he's actually really good. He gets Swift Strikes, which is a mid to late game skill, I understand, but that mid to late game skill is really clutch, and you know, being able to have an instant brave effect whenever you need it is really, really nice. You know, 2 attacks with a Silver Lance or other powerful lances towards the end of the game can be really, really useful. So we're going to put him in A tier. And on top of that, he has an easy time becoming a guard adjutant if you just don't want to use him for anything other than that. I don't know. I think Ferdinand is a pretty versatile unit as a physical fighter. He can do just about anything well. And I don't know. It's hard to screw him up, is all I'm saying. So I think A is a fair place for him. Next, we have Linhardt. And this, I think this is where Linhardt has a chance to shine. He is going to have physic and warp. He's going to be able to deal some decent chip damage, but his most useful aspects are definitely his white magic spell list. Having both physic and warp is really great. His only issue, is that he struggles to gain magic. He won't have the highest magic stat by the end of the game. Hubert will definitely have him beat, and a lot of other mages will as well. Warp is really good, and so is physic, but I think I'm going to put him down to B, actually. I think we're going to do B for Linhardt. I have to draw a line somewhere. All right, Kaspar. We're going to put him in C. This is like the only route where Kaspar is anything other than like bottom 3 in the entire game, in my opinion. Kaspar has terrible growths, which normally in Fire Emblem growths don't matter that much, but in 3 Houses it's a bit of a different story, where you get all of your units so early and they all start off at such a low level that their growth actually matters. Promotions don't do enough to make units with bad bases good. He needs those level ups, and it takes him a long time to catch up compared to a lot of other units that you'll have. A lot of people are going to point out that he makes a great war master, but so does every other male fighter, So I think C tier is fair for him. He's free in this route, and you can use him in some situations, but overall, I think he is one of your weaker units in the Black Eagles. Okay, next we have Bernadetta. Now, Bernadetta is interesting. I'm tempted to go bottom of A tier, but I think I'm going to go top of B tier for Bernadetta. Bernadetta has a really awesome bow skill set. She learns Deadeye, which isn't as useful in Maddening. Its hit rate is really trash. But she does have Encloser. When she learns Encloser, that's going to be like extremely useful for just locking locking really dangerous enemies in place and giving you an opportunity to either catch your breath, gang up on them in the next turn, or what have you, or just honestly just keep you safe. So that is going to be really, really useful. Her damage output isn't going to be like top notch. You know what I mean? Her damage output isn't as much as you would like, but she is a solid unit. She will be able to do decent chip damage throughout the game, and Encloser is just really good. Next, Dorothea. Now, Dorothea is interesting. Dorothea is interesting. I'm having a hard time with Dorothea. You know what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to put Linhardt at the top of B. And Dorothea here. Just kidding, Bernadetta. You are not better than these people. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. We're going to put Linhardt here, and then Dorothea in B. Mid B. Dorothea is she's kind of an odd unit who's confused as to what she wants to be. She has a good spell list, and she has a decent magic stat. She'll be able to deal good damage, but I think her main selling point is physic. She'll be able to heal really well, which Linhardt also can do, but he also has warp. So that's the only reason that I put Linhardt above Dorothea in this instance. Dorothea is really good, but I do think that's a pretty fair placing. Now, Petra, S tier unit. What puts her above Ferdinand for me, because you could say, well, why? Like, she's a physical fighter. What's so good? Her base speed is 10. And a lot of people will say that speed doesn't matter as much in maddening mode, which is silly to say. because they'll claim that you're not going to double very often. Well, Petra is still very capable of doubling in maddening mode, especially if you get her like darting blow pretty early. Then she's going to be doubling regularly, honestly. So I think her base speed is like 10. It's ridiculous. She's so fast. So fast right from the get-go, and she'll catch up to the enemies and surpass them very quickly. I think putting her in S's is only fair. I'm very tempted to put her above the Bilious, actually, for how much she'll be able to contribute and how quickly she'll be able to contribute to the team. So I think I am going to put her above the Bilious. I think Edelgard is still slightly better, if for nothing else, because of her skill that gives her experience gain, a plus 20% experience gain. But I think this is fair. We'll leave it here. Okay. Next, Felix. Felix is one of the easiest. He's such an easy recruit, right? And I'm tempted to put him at the bottom of S just because of how easy he is to recruit, in all honesty. He requires sword rank and, I believe, dexterity, or it might be strength. I should look that up. I should be a good person and look that up. Oh, yeah, good thing I looked it up. So, okay, just looked it up. Felix, he requires speed and sword rank. Byleth naturally is going to be working on swords just because of the Sword of the Creator. That's probably the direction you want to go with your Byleth in a maddening fresh file. And also, he only requires like 15 speed, and that's without any supports. That's like, you meet that within a chapter or two. He's a pretty easy recruit, all things considered. So I think recruitment isn't really an issue for Felix, and I think S tier is definitely where he belongs. Really solid unit, really strong fighter. His speed is pretty good. His strength is really good. He will be a little fragile, but everyone's really fragile in maddening. So aside from if you want to make someone like an armor knight, maybe a fortress knight, but for the most part, everyone's really fragile on maddening and not going to be taking more than 2 or 3 hits in combat and living. So I think S tier is fair for my man Felix. All right, we have Ash, who I think is D tier. He's bad. Recruiting him is a pain. Let me look at his recruiting requirements just in case. He needs a C in Lances. Okay, he needs a C in Lances, which just isn't very good. That's like, you're not going to get that in new game, maddening fresh new game, most likely. You might, I guess, especially if you're pushing for Pegasus Knight, female Byleth. But overall, and even if you do get him, he's not that useful. He doesn't have Encloser. He does have Deadeye, but I don't know. I prefer Bernadetta over Ash, for sure. Especially when Bernadetta comes for free. Alright, so Sylvain is next. Sylvain's interesting. If you're playing female Byleth, he's free. And in that case, I think he is basically, like, him and Ferdinand are really similar units. I don't mind just putting them right next to each other. Because, free recruitment and everything for playing female Byleth, which you honestly probably should be if you're looking for the quote-unquote most optimal play of Black Eagles. So we'll say he's A tier. Again, Swift Strikes, just really good stats, and makes a great any physical unit you want him to be. And of course, and he starts off with good weapon ranks in lance and axes, so it's really easy to get him like Death Blow, and then if you want to put him into cavalry you can, or then put him into Wyvern Lord, whatever. Just really easy, very similar to Ferdinand. Very, very good units. Okay, Mer Cetis. Mer Cetis is probably the best healer in the game, let's be honest. If we're talking pure healing. But her big problem is that she requires bows. She requires bows to recruit. She needs a C in bow. I mean, you could just get supports and everything, so I don't think recruitment matters. That's going to hurt too much, I guess. But that small price to pay for the best healer in the game. I'm not saying the best white magic user. I'm saying the best healer. So Mer Cetis, I think we're going to put her... do I put her above Linhardt? Put her above Linhardt. I think, in my opinion, I think she is still better than... she's hard to recruit. Her recruitment, though... I'm going to put but Fortify and Physic on the same unit. So good. And she deals a ton of damage. We'll put her in B. We'll put her just here. That's one I'm very flexible on. Let me know where you want me to move her for sure. Well, I'm flexible on all of this because it's our tier list, but you know what I mean. All right, Annette. Annette is a rally bot. That's basically her best thing about her is that she'll be rallying for days. She also can do some really good chip damage for you, and she even starts killing armor knights and stuff pretty early on. So I think it's pretty fair to put Annette relatively high. I don't think she is as useful as Bernadetta in this instance, so I think we'll put her in B tier as well. Let me check her recruitment real quick. 10 magic and B faith. Ooh, that's gross. That's a pretty rough recruitment for maddening new game, but we'll throw her in B because honestly it's doable with supports and everything. Okay, Ingrid is pretty good. I'm gonna put her in A tier. If you got her right from the get-go, I would put her in S. Maybe. She also gets the automatic growths of the Maddening Pegasus Knights, which is actually pretty good. It raises her strength growth to like 50%, so she'll have more strength on average if you do it that way than if you were to raise her naturally. So recruiting her later is an option. I don't know if it's recommended, but it's definitely an option, especially since she just goes into a class line that's already really good. So I think A is fair for her. Let me check her recruitment just in case. Dexterity and flying. It's only D in flying though. I think I'm tempted to put her in S as well. I really like Ingrid. I think she's really good. We'll leave her in A for now though. Lawrence. I'm gonna put him above Kaspar. He's a C tier unit. Just average strength, average magic, average everything, I feel like. His spell list is kind of whatever. He does give you access to Thyrsus, which you should give to like Hubert or something. Like honestly, you should give to Hubert rather than him, or someone else who's going to deal more magic damage. But it works. You know, like he's okay. If you want to use him, you can. I don't think he's as good as the units up here. Okay, Raphael. Raphael's an interesting case. Let me make sure I know his recruitment requirements. Oh, he wants a C in heavy armor? Gross. But you can get him to a high support level and make it. He might just join automatically, so I won't hold it too much against him. I think we're still going to throw him in D by our buddy Ash here. Hard recruitment, even though, again, supports, I guess. But he's also just kind of an underwhelming unit, so we're going to put him in D. Ignatz is interesting. We'll throw him. I think we'll put him just above Lorenz. I think really decent chip damage, and you know, just innately wants to be a sniper. And hit plus 20 is really good on maddening. It's his personal skill, and then he can also stack it with another hit plus 20 from mastering archer. And that can lead to a lot of damage, a lot of like good hit rates, and just like reliable. I'm pretty sure it affects gambits. It's like reliable gambit hit rates and stuff too, which is like hard to come by in a maddening playthrough. So I'm down for at least a C Ignatz. I'm tempted to go bottom of B. Let me look at his recruitment requirement just to make sure I know what they are. I'm pretty sure I do. Dexterity. Oh, it's dexterity and authority. That's not what I thought it was. We'll do bottom of B. I like him there. Lysithea. Lysithea is awesome. I love Lysithea. Lysithea is S tier. Her recruitment requires 15 magic and B in faith. Ugh. She can also be recruited in part 2, it looks like, which is kind of cool. I'm into that. She can be recruited in part 2 if you have like either Byleth or Edelgard Killer, I think. I don't remember exactly how it works. But her I don't know. I've been saying it for everyone else too. Like, just get supports and you can recruit pretty easily anyways. But her magic list is just so versatile and so good. I know it's kind of like a meme thing. You know, like Chaz and Mangs are always making fun of Lysithea and how she's like, oh, you need to give her all the stuff to make her the best unit in the game. And that's not necessarily true. You know, does she use Thyrsus better than a lot of other people? For sure. Does she benefit from a few magic herbs? Well, wouldn't all your other magic users benefit from magic herbs and stuff too? Yes. So it's just that people will say that she uses, and what I'll say is that she uses resources better than most other units, most other magic units, because of her amazing spell list. Just so versatile, and I think S is just fair. I think she's slightly better than Hubert as a combat unit, and I think Warp is just, her Warp range is insane with her really good magic, so I think S is totally fair. Okay, Marianne. Good old Marianne. She has physics, so I feel like that puts her in B alone. I think that puts her, like, I'm going to have her go, like, just below Mer Cetis. I think she's a fairly similar unit to Dorothea. But, you know, she's not free, and yeah. Her recruitment does require riding, which is a pain, but I've decided, I feel like I've decided so far that it doesn't matter too much unless you're like, except in extreme cases with characters like Ferdinand and Kaspar when you're not playing Black Eagles. Okay, Hilda is not playable in this route. Leone. I think Leone is a similar unit to Ingrid here. I think, you know, just fairly similar. She doesn't go through the Pegasus class line naturally, so you'll want to recruit her ASAP for sure, which isn't the easiest thing because she requires a C and lances. But again, if you're going for flying female Violet, that's not too hard to get, and of course just supports. So I think A is fair, right by Ingrid. I think these two are pretty interchangeable. Alright, so I am going to throw Flayn on here, even though she's only playable for, like, a part of Part 1. And because of her just horrid availability, we're going to just put her in D tier. Okay, Hahnemann. Hahnemann. We're going to put him in C tier. He's pretty poor unit. He's a free rally magic if you're into that. But other than that, he doesn't bring a whole lot to the table other than some long-range magic and long-range link attacks, which can be nice. But I think C is fair. Manuela, I do think, is slightly better than Hahnemann. I think she's better than C tier. I'm going to put her at the bottom of B just for Warp, if I'm being real. Alright, Eloise. Eloise is just like so whatever to me. So whatever to me. We're going to put him above Kaspar. Very open to changing a lot of this. Alright, I think that's it. I think that is every playable character for Crimson Flower. So let me know what you guys think. And if I missed anyone, let me know. But I'm pretty sure these are all the playable characters for Crimson Flower. But let me know in the comments what you would change. And make sure to give some decent reasoning. Don't just tell me, oh, Hubert is too high, please move him down. Tell me, oh, Hubert is too high because I don't think his magic is very good, and if you compare him to Dorothea, then this, and that. Give me reasons. Compare characters in your comments. Those are the comments that are going to get considered when I'm making changes to the community tier list. Hopefully that makes sense. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe for more Fire Emblem discussion. And yeah, we'll talk to you later.